My ex-fiancée promised me honesty above all, but after 3 years together and a year engaged, she lied, cheated with her work friend, and left me shattered. I lost 37 pounds, fell into depression, exposed the truth on TikTok. My ex-fiancé, then 23, and I, 26, were together for 3 years total, and engaged for about 1 year of that time. To be completely honest, the first 2 years and 10 months were fantastic. We had what I thought was the kind of relationship you build a future on, the kind where you talk about kids, houses, careers, the whole rest of your life kind of thing. We met through my coworker at my first ever big boy job at a law firm in the city. She was in her last semester of undergrad, and I had just recently graduated the semester before. From the very beginning, I noticed something about her. She had drive, but she lacked guidance. She had decent grades, but she didn't know the first thing about applying for jobs, crafting a resume, or preparing for interviews.
Me?
I had graduated from one of the top universities in the country. I had gone through dozens of workshops, resume reviews, mock interviews, and career fairs. I knew how to package myself, how to sell myself to employers, and I had a sense of confidence that she simply didn't. Naturally, because we were a couple, I wanted to help her. So I sat down with her. I literally wrote her entire resume, formatted it, edited it, and polished it to perfection. I quizzed her on potential interview questions, stayed up late researching how she could stand out, and even applied to her current job for her because she was too nervous and insecure to do it herself. Looking back, I now realize this was red flag 1. Her insecurities often caused inaction, and I took on the role of fixer. At the time, though, I didn't see it that way. I loved her, I believed in her, and I wanted to see her succeed. It felt like we were a team. And when she finally landed the job, it felt like a victory for both of us. By the time she started that job, we were already engaged. That's when Finn entered the picture. Finn was in her hiring class at work. They started training together, sat through the same onboarding, learned the ropes side by side. Naturally, they bonded. She came home and told me about him often. He was her first work friend, the one she leaned on when she felt lost or overwhelmed during training. At first, I was happy for her. I know how intimidating starting a new job can be, and it honestly relieved me to know she had someone helping her through it. I was secure in our relationship. I had no reason not to be. We were engaged, we lived together, we shared so much of our lives already. So when she talked about Finn, I wasn't threatened. We even hung out with him. There were music festivals where it was the three of us, me, her, and Finn. He was around, but he was just her work friend. Nothing more. Or so I thought. The first red flag came when Finn got transferred to a new office. My fiancée came home one day and told me she cried when he left. Word for word, she said, "I'm telling you so you know you have nothing to worry about, but I cried when he left." I was so sad that I lost my first work friend. I believed her. Like a fool, I really did. I told myself it made sense. She was just sad about losing her first friend at work. She had always struggled with insecurities with putting herself out there socially, so maybe Finn really did mean a lot to her in that specific context. That's what I told myself. But now, with hindsight,
Nah.
that wasn't just a work friend she was crying over. That was the beginning of something else. And that conversation, her framing it as, "See, I'm telling you because you have nothing to worry about," feels a lot more like a preemptive excuse than honesty. Well, as time went on, probably about 6 months before she eventually left me, we started having more serious conversations about our future. We were engaged, living together, and naturally we began mapping out what the next steps should look like. We talked about where we wanted to live, how we'd manage finances, and what kind of life we were building. Ideally, the dream was a house together. But let's be real, we live in California, and buying a house here feels damn near impossible unless you've got family money or you've been grinding for years. Fortunately, I had been smart, or maybe just lucky with money. I'd been working since I was 18, saving consistently, investing where I could, and living below my means. By the time those conversations about our future home really started, I was in a position to make it happen. My parents were ready to retire and had their eyes on Nevada, so we struck a deal. I'd buy the family home from them, and they'd use that money to buy their retirement home. Within a month, it was official. I was a homeowner. My childhood home, the place where I grew up, where I had all my memories, where I always imagined one day raising a family, was now mine. I thought this would be one of the happiest, most exciting moments of our relationship. I thought she'd see it as proof that I wasn't just talking about a future with her, I was putting it in motion. This wasn't just words. This was real. But when I told her the news, her reaction was flat. Almost cold. She didn't smile the way I expected, didn't hug me, didn't have that "we did it" excitement I had hoped for. Instead, she looked at it like it was something I did with my family, something she was on the outside of. She actually said she felt like it wasn't her accomplishment, and that she couldn't be excited because it wasn't something we did together. I can't describe how confusing that was for me. I mean, yes, technically I arranged the deal with my parents, and technically my name was on the mortgage. But the whole reason I did it was because of our conversations. Because we agreed that the best move for our future was to buy a home. I didn't just buy a house for me, I bought a house for us. For our future. For the family we talked about having. After that, things shifted. Her efforts, already inconsistent at times, started to taper off even more. Meanwhile, I was now tied to a mortgage. My disposable income took a big hit. I told her up front, literally as soon as I signed the papers, that things would have to change financially. I explained that we couldn't go on as many dates, that we'd have to save money, and that if she wanted to go out sometimes, it would help if she could pitch in or cover things every once in a while. She agreed. She said she understood. But 2 or 3 months later, it blew up in my face. Out of nowhere, she started an argument about how I had stopped trying in the relationship. She said we didn't do anything anymore, that it felt like I had gotten lazy and stopped putting in effort. I sat there dumbfounded, because we had literally talked about this months prior. I had explained that buying the house meant sacrifices, and she had agreed. Yet now she was throwing it back at me like I had broken some unspoken promise. I tried to explain it again. I reminded her that we had a home now, something we both said we wanted. And yeah, maybe we weren't going out to fancy dinners or weekends away as often, but I was still showing up in every other way. I still texted her throughout the day, checked in on her, listened when she had bad days, reassured her, supported her, loved her. That didn't stop. My effort didn't stop. It just looked different now because I was literally sacrificing to build the foundation for our future. But that wasn't enough. She accused me of not caring, not trying. So I did what I thought any good fiancé would do. I planned a date. A real date. Something nice. I made the reservations, spent the money, put in the work. And when we finally went out, she was barely even present. Barely looked me in the eye. Barely engaged in conversation. She was on her phone, distracted, distant. I sat across from her at the table, looking at the woman I thought I'd marry, and I felt like I was dining with a stranger. It crushed me, because I knew, deep down, that I hadn't stopped trying. I was still giving her the same love, attention, and patience I always had. I was still checking in, still showing up. About 2 weeks after she officially left, she blindsided me. She sat me down and said she wanted to call off the engagement. Just like that. No warning, no build-up, no conversation about working through things. 1 minute, we were planning a future together, the next, she was telling me she didn't want to marry me anymore. I remember just staring at her, completely in shock. My whole body went numb. Why? That was the only word I could get out. Why would she call it off? I hadn't changed. I was still here, still putting in the same effort, still trying to be the man she needed. I gave everything I had to this relationship. So why now? Why like this? And that's when it hit me. I immediately knew. She was cheating. It was too obvious. All the signs had been piling up for weeks, maybe even months, but I hadn't wanted to believe them. Our physical intimacy had all but disappeared. She was cold, detached, and always distracted when we were together. She started hanging out with Finn outside of work, one-on-one, with flimsy excuses that never quite added up. And even when she was home, she wasn't really present. She would curl up on the couch, doom scrolling through TikTok for hours, isolating herself and shutting me out. I asked her directly, point blank, if this was about Finn. I didn't yell, I didn't accuse, I just asked. And she denied it. Looked me in the eyes and denied it. And that cut deeper than I can even put into words. Because from the very beginning of our relationship, I had been upfront with her. I told her my history, that I had been cheated on multiple times in the past. That each betrayal left scars that never really healed. That I had trust issues because of it, and the only way I could keep going in a relationship was if I knew, without question, that honesty was sacred between us. I even told her, half joking but half dead serious, that if she ever cheated on me, I would give up on relationships forever. I wouldn't put myself through that again. I wouldn't survive it. And she looked at me, back then, and promised. We both promised each other. No matter what, we'd always tell each other the truth. Even if it was ugly, even if it hurt, even if it ended things, we'd rather hear it from each other than find out through someone else. That was our one unbreakable rule. So when she denied it, when she swore it wasn't about Finn, I wanted to believe her. I wanted to hold on to the hope that she wasn't lying to me, that the woman I was ready to marry wouldn't spit on the one promise that mattered most. But she did. She left me with the excuse that she just fell out of love. Those were her words. As if love was something you could just misplace, like car keys. As if after 3 years, an engagement, and building an entire life together, she could just shrug and say, "Sorry, it's gone." And then about a month later, the truth came crashing down. Her own friends, the people who had been in her corner, who had known us both, who had witnessed our relationship up close, they reached out to me. They told me what she hadn't had the courage to, that she was with Finn now. That right when she ended things with me, she started something with him. I can't describe the mix of emotions that ripped through me in that moment. Rage, grief, humiliation, vindication. Because when she left, I told people, I told her friends, I told my own that I suspected she was cheating with Finn. And almost everyone dismissed me. They thought I was just another heartbroken guy, paranoid and bitter, grasping for an explanation that wasn't there. They brushed me off like I was pathetic, like I was some clueless guy who didn't know how to treat a woman right, and this was my punishment. But I was right. Every gut feeling, every suspicion, every sleepless night, I spent staring at the ceiling wondering what she was doing. It was all right. She cheated on me. She left me for Finn. And the cruelest part? She didn't even have the decency to admit it. She let her friends be the ones to tell me. When I found out the truth, my entire world shattered into pieces. It wasn't just a breakup. It felt like my life had been ripped apart by someone I trusted with everything I had. For 3 years, I thought I had found the love of my life. My angel, my baby girl, my sun in the sky. And then, just like that, she betrayed me in the cruelest way imaginable. What makes it so much worse is that she broke our promise. From the very beginning, we agreed that no matter what, we would always be honest. That even if the truth hurt, we would tell each other straight up. She was the one who wrote that promise down, who looked me in the eye and swore to never lie. And yet she did. Over and over. When she left, she told me she had just fallen out of love. That was it. No other explanation. She swore it wasn't about Finn. She denied it, knowing my history, that I'd been cheated on multiple times before, that I told her I wouldn't survive another betrayal. She promised me that if anything ever happened, she would be honest with me. And then she chose to let me believe I was paranoid and insecure, while secretly sneaking around with the guy from work. When the truth came out, when her friends finally admitted to me that she was seeing Finn, I can't even describe the devastation I felt. It was like someone reached inside my chest and ripped my heart out. I was traumatized. Truly. I fell into the darkest depression of my life. I lost 37 pounds in 3 months. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't function. I had to take 3 months of disability leave from work because I literally couldn't get out of bed some days. I cried every single day until my body just collapsed from exhaustion. I wasn't living anymore. I was just existing in this endless cycle of grief and disbelief. And through all of that, she lied. Lied to me. Lied to her family. Lied to mine. Lied to our friends. She painted herself as the poor girl who just didn't feel the same anymore. She spun this narrative that I was just a bitter ex who couldn't handle rejection. Meanwhile, she was already in Finn's arms. The worst part is, people believed her at first. They thought I was the crazy, insecure guy grasping at straws. That made me feel even more insane. Eventually, I broke. I couldn't sit in silence while she lied and painted me as the problem. So, I did something I'm still conflicted about. I turned to TikTok. I didn't name her. I didn't name Finn. But I told my story. I talked about the betrayal, the cheating, the lies. I let it all out. At the time, it felt like the only way I could reclaim my voice, to let people know the truth after months of being silenced and gaslit. And then the videos blew up. Not viral in the millions, but enough. 10K views, 30K, sometimes even 80K. Enough that everyone we knew saw them. My friends, our mutuals, her friends, my family, her family. And yet, even though I had blocked her by then, I know she saw them. I know she did. For a little while, it felt like justice. Like finally, she couldn't hide behind her lies anymore. People knew. People saw what she had done. For the first time in months, I felt like I wasn't crazy. But here's the thing. That relief didn't last. It's been about 9 months now since she left me for Finn. We haven't spoken once since. She cut me off like I never existed, like 3 years of my life didn't matter. No apology. No remorse. Not even the decency of closure. After everything I did for her, writing her resume, helping her land her job, buying us a house, literally shaping her future, she couldn't even look me in the eye and tell me the truth. And now I feel guilty. At the time, exposing her on TikTok felt justified. It felt like the only way to balance the scales after everything she put me through. But looking back, I wonder if I should have handled it differently. If maybe I should have just stayed silent, taken the high road, and let karma take care of it. Instead, I kept myself tied to her through every post, every comment, every notification. Each video was like picking at an open wound. So I deleted TikTok. My account was growing, but I couldn't bear it anymore. Exposing her didn't free me. It just kept me chained to the pain.